back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Aspasia and this is my channel, asparagusisreading. Today we're going to be talking about my February TBR, which I don't believe I've done yet. I'm pretty sure I did a January TBR and then I had to go back and refilm or update it because I forgot some books. But hopefully today I have all of them here. The only reason why I don't have some of them is because I haven't bought them yet. There's one that I think I might just read online, and there's another one which I might get from my job because at my job I get store credit, and instead of paying money towards the book, we can just use store credit. So I might just use my store credit and get a book for free. But at the same time, I don't want to pay it because I'm not sure if I'm actually gonna read it, But I'm just gonna get started. This is a bit of a random pile, some are for school, some are for fun, some for readathons, read-alongs, some are just thrown in there. So the first one we're going to talk about is The Hunger Games by why did I want to say Marissa Meyer? Oh my gosh. The Hunger Games by Suzanne. If you don't know what this is, you must be living under a rock. But this is a best-selling hit. It's in movies now. There's been memes about it. There's a new book coming out, but this is about a teenage girl named Katniss Everdeen who volunteers herself as a tribute to go into the Hunger Games. So every, I don't remember, something years or so, they do a thing called a reaping, where they kind of like a raffle. They pick out a female and a male to go into the Hunger Games, and basically the Hunger Games is when a bunch of kids between, I think up until the age of 18, they fight to the death to win, money, food, etc. for their, what is it called? For their district and for the family. So at the reaping of this year, Katniss' sister is chosen, and Katniss is like, you're not about to do that. I volunteer as tribute, and because she volunteers, no one else can volunteer for her. So now she goes in with, I believe his name is Peter Malark, and there's a journey that goes on from there. It's great. Obviously, it's a dystopian, whenever there's dystopian, there's always going to be the chosen one. She's the one that goes out and kind of starts the rebellion, starts the revolution, all kinds of stuff. So if you haven't read it, you haven't watched the movies, I highly recommend. The books are great, movies are great, but I do feel like Catching Fire is the best movie. Everyone says that. It is. Just go with it. I'm going to be reading this with Peyton Reeds and a couple other hosts, and anyone else who wants to jump in. This is for the Hunger Games read-along from, I believe, February to May, because Suzanne has recently discussed or released or premiered, whatever you have to call it, that she is going to be writing another book, which will be the prequel to the series, and I believe it's called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I do not have a copy of that yet because it comes out in May, but I would like to pre-order it and hopefully get it in the future and read it. And I saw that she was doing this read along, and I was like, why not reread it for the 10th time? I did reread the audiobook, I think January, if not end of December, but why not do it again? Alright, these next two books are for one of my classes. It's for my Shakespeare class, Othello and Hamlet. In my Shakespeare class, we read 4 different Shakespeare books. One is Much Ado About Nothing, Othello, Hamlet, and I believe the next one is Richard III. As of right now, we just started Othello. I actually started yesterday, got about 20 pages in. I think my favorite part so far is Othello. He's like a very different character than everyone else seems to be upset about something, angry, defensive, got some kind of jokes going on, in their feelings. And Othello's just here guys, let's relax, it's fine, I'll talk to them, we can work this out. And he's like, I have good intentions with your daughter, it's good, what's up? I like him. He's calm, understanding. And then towards the end of the month, we should be starting Hamlet. I have no clue what this is about. This is a pretty popular one of Shakespeare's. I mean, so as this one too, but I feel like this one's more popular. I haven't heard of it. I have heard of it, but I don't know what it's about. Haven't watched any plays, haven't seen any movies, etc. I believe the only Shakespeare ones I've read so far is this, the 20 pages of this, Macbeth, Much Ado About Nothing. I believe there's one more. Off for School. Macbeth is I mean, it's good, but And then Much Ado About Nothing, I think, might be my favorite so far. Probably because it's a comedy, but who knows. The next book is also for school, and that is Writing Poems by Machado, Hadar Bar Nadav, and Robert Wallace. Basically, it's just how to write poems. It talks about different things like meters and stanza and different types of syllables, alliteration and dialogue and all kinds of that. So we read like a chapter or two every other class, and it sort of relates to what we're working on. Because right now we're writing a dialogue poem. I'm not really sure this has dialogue. And it's not like some of the poems have it, but I don't think it's like a specific chapter for it. But it does help with writing poems. This is an Amazon rental, which is why it has a sticker. I believe we're reading about 3 or 4 more chapters of this month, and then we're going to move on to the next book. And that book is What If? Writing Exercises for Fiction Writers, the 3rd edition by Anne Bernays and Pamela Painter. This is also the college edition, also an Amazon rental. This one is about, I think, writing in general, especially for fiction writers. Well, obviously if you're doing creative writing, you got to be a bit more into fiction. I write all the time. I've been doing that since elementary, middle school. And I kind of taken a break and I come back. I'll take a break and I come back. And I really I haven't read this one yet, but I have skimmed through it and really these words are small, I forgot all about that. But I really like how it breaks down things, give you examples, give you some prompts and exercises you could do, give you some links to go to, some quotes, all things like that can really help you, with your writing. I'm also really excited because in my school library, I did see they have some books in the library that I could use that are about writing fiction and writing poems, how to do this, how to do that. And I was like, I might reference some of those in the future, and if not, I might just buy it for myself because they look like something I would use. This next book is for another class, and that is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I have already started this. I'm 50 pages in. I'm supposed to be much farther than that. A small group of the class have finished the book. Most of us are volume 2, and the rest of them aren't finished. I'm still volume 1, and struggling. I am confusing the characters. I'm trying to understand the language. Books written way back when are very difficult for most people to read. And for me, because I'm an English major, I feel like in my head when I see something, I automatically want to correct it or read it a certain way. So for me to go back and read something like this and then have to sit there and fix it and correct it and be like, what is going on, and decipher it, and then look into the meaning and the real point of what they're saying, it's just too much. It is too much. This is why I struggle with these books. Shakespeare, what's another author? Charlotte Bronte, I believe the author's name is. Just people like that. It's a lot. So recently I have been looking at Spark Notes, movies, essays, etc. that really helps me understand it. But we're supposed to have an essay due next Friday, and 3 of the prompts that we can choose from out of 6 are about Pride and Prejudice. So I'm like, well, since I'm reading it, might as well write an essay on it. After this, we're going to be picking up Jane Eyre, which also I believe is by Charlotte Bronte. I don't have a copy of that. We were not told to get that, but it seems like we're going to spend a good 2-3 weeks on it, so I might buy that from the local bookstore. I think it's a mass market paperback, so it might be $2. I have no clue what it's about. I'm a little scared because I'm struggling in this class. My teacher is from the UK, and she does have a strong accent. She understands a lot of the things that she talks about. All the students in my class are not. So when she talks to us about things like that, we're all kind of just like, huh? This next book here is not what I'm going to be reading, but it's related to it. This is After We Fell, but I'm going to be reading After We Collided with a buddy read with Rihanna and Haley. We did originally plan to read it in January. We started this buddy read months ago, and then we just, life happened, and more life happened, and more life happened, and life continues happening, and so we decided to do February. I am trying to buy this book, right? And at my bookstore, we only have this copy, after we fell, and then nothing left, which is, I think, book 2 in her other series, right? And so every time I go there, I'm looking, they don't have it. I'm looking, don't have it. Look online, it's like $12, $13, $15, $18, and I'm like, I don't want to spend that much. So I think I might just go on Wattpad and read it on Wattpad, because your girl's trying not to spend too much money on books. I just spent like $40 today at Walmart because I need to get things, and my wallet is crying. So this series is about Tessa and Hardin, and it's supposed to be a One Direction fan fiction, but because it was published into a book and movies, they have to change the names around so it's not One Direction fan fiction, but you still tell who's who. This is about Tessa and Hardin. And the series starts off when Tessa's going to college, her first year of college, and she meets this bad boy, this guy who breaks the rules. He's kind of mysterious, Hardin, because she's the good girl, very kind, sweet, follows the rules. And of course, in every book, they fall for each other. And it's a very up and down relationship for 4 books. And I'm one of those people that's trash for it, but also has mixed feelings. I know recently, because of the first movie came out, a lot of booktubers decided to read it, and rant review it for content. And it was and then there's a whole discussion about why people are doing this, and I was just like, I enjoyed it growing up. And then I hit a point where I started to see the problems of why people didn't like it. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't like it. So I didn't care for it, and then I went back to liking it. So my feelings are kind of, But now I'm rereading it, and I'm really, being an English major, really looking it through, analyzing it, thinking about it. But again, mixed feelings. The story about this book is that I was at Goodwill one day, and I saw this book, and I was like, wow, that's a big book. I want to see how fast I can read it. And it sounded interesting on the back, right? So I get it, I read it, and I get this much way through, right? And I'm sitting here, and I'm like, I wonder if there's any more in the series. So I go online, and I find out that this is book 3. I read this much, maybe a little more, and just not finding out it's book 3. Because nowhere on the book does it say, hey, this is book 3. But really the only hint you got is the back. I don't know why I didn't register that these might be beforehand. I don't know. Yeah. Whoops. Right. So the next 2 books are very popular, lovely books that I talked about before. And that is City of Glass and City of Ashes for the Shadowhunter read-along that I'm doing. I believe this one is from January 22nd to February 14th. And this is from the 14th to the end of February, something like that. Haven't picked them up yet because I am a bit focusing on textbooks and stuff like that, but I will pick them up soon. If I end up falling behind, I'll probably do a catch-up month, because I do have 2 or 3 months out the year where nothing's scheduled. You can just catch up, do whatever you want. So I might end up catching up on the books. I'm going to do audiobooks, but all audiobooks have a 10-week wait, and I'm like, maybe y'all are, doing this readathon with me, because there's never been a wait until now. But if you don't know what this series is about and live under a rock, I know what you're doing, because at this point she has dark artifices, mortal instruments, infernal devices, last hours, eldest curses, 5-6 series in the whole universe, plus some short stories and other things that go along with it, and guides, plus a movie and the TV show. At this point, where have you been? So, if you don't know what it is, I will gladly tell you. This particular series, I believe, is the I'm trying to remember where it is on the timeline. The now? Well, no, it's not now because it's 2020. I feel like this was like the early 2000s now, okay? About Clary, who sees some people that realizes that she's the only person that can see them, and something happens to her mom. She's kind of like, what's going on? Why am I seeing these people? What's this happening to my mom? What is this? Then all of a sudden their things are connected, and she finds out that there's a whole other part of the world that she did not know about, and found out she's a Shadowrunner relative. And then now this whole world just opened up, and now she's trying to figure out where to get my mom, and who's my dad, and why are these the secrets, and what are Shadowhunters, and why do we kill demons, and why can't I see you, and da 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 da. And it's a whole journey, and lots of things happen on the way. Obviously, there's a lot that happens because there's like 5 other series. This one is 6 books, and I think everything else is 3. I'm not sure why we chose to do that, but Cassie, do your thing. I'm reading it again because I have no self-control, and I need to catch up because Queen of Red Darkness came out last year. Ghost of Shadow Markets came out, I think, last year or the year before that. Red Scrolls of Magic came out like last year, and then another book, Enchanted Gold, is coming out this year, and I'm just like, I am so behind. So I'm gonna reread all of them, and in that process, I have collected like 5-6 of these. I am ashamed to admit it, but I have. I mean, a lot of them were free, but you know, whoops. And the next book, or at least last physical books, is Exploring Psychology in Modules by, oh my gosh, David Myers and C. Nathan Dewell, which is my textbook for psychology, and it talks about a lot of things in psychology. For example, the adulthood development and the basic concepts of sensation and perception, and forgetting, memory construction, and improving memory, and health and happiness, and schizophrenia and other disorders. Like, it's a very mixed book. Psychology at Work just talks about a lot of things related to psychology. I didn't really have much interest in psychology growing up. My friend talked about it a lot senior year, and after we graduated, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a psychology class. And so I'm in the class, and this teacher, Miss Holt, if you ever watch this, God bless you, because you have made psychology look like the best thing on the earth. And honestly, I have never been so amazed by something in my life. I have never enjoyed reading a textbook. Like, I feel like I start off really good, I'll get like a good 100 pages in, and I'll never touch the textbook for the rest of the year. I'll never touch it again. I have read a lot out of this, and we're all supposed to be like 6 modules in. Y'all listen. When I mean I'm tempted to take this book home forever, write in it, highlight in it, become a psychologist, listen to people talk. Honestly, I'm tempted because I've never been this amazed in my life. Like, this is great because psychology is great. So now I'm tempted to do an English major and psychology minor and creative writing minor. Right. Now that we're done talking about psychology, I'll talk about some other books. I do have a few other books I'd like to read in February. Not necessarily like, they're not really a goal to read like some of these are. This is more just because you know, I don't really have a lot of time for physical books lately. I've been doing a lot of audiobooks because I can read while working, I can read while on the bus, I can read while I'm walking, I can read while I'm doing an assignment, I can read while I'm eating, read while I'm cleaning, etc. So I've been really doing a lot of audiobooks lately. And so I do feel like there's gonna be a couple audiobooks popping up on Goodreads when I finish them, and I'll be like, oh, hey, read this, listen to this, etc. And yeah. I think those are all the physical books. Audiobooks, I don't really have a plan for them. I just pick like a random one that sounded interesting at the time and I listen to it. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you have read any of these, if you're interested in any of these, if you think I should add any more to this list. Let me know what you think of psychology, because psychology is great. Let me know if you have read any Cassandra Clare. Let me know if you like any of Shakespeare, like which one you should recommend to someone who's like dipping their toes in it. Let me know if you're gonna be participating in the Shadowhunter read along or the Hunger Games read along. In the Shadowhunter read along or the Hunger Games read along. I will leave links to both of these down below. I will also link the channels to Haley and Rihanna for those on buddy reading with down below. And I believe that's all. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.